I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me. You could be around for
You could be with anyone, and I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me.
Hey, what's going on, people? How's everybody doing on a fine, fun Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening for some, and maybe even Thursday morning for others? I don't know. But guess what, y'all? We are back for another one. This is a new speak pipe that we have coming down the line, as discussed in the thumbnail and the description. Guys, we are going to be talking about Meri and Christine because that's the messages that were left for me. Before we go too far, let me make sure that I can be heard and seen. Thank you so much, Wendy and Rosemond. Give me that one in the chat. If you can see me, you can hear me, and everything is coming through clear, so that way I know that I'm being broadcast and not sitting here talking to myself, which is crazy. Thank you so much, Sarah. MXPX77. Oh. Is that like your James Bond name? Like, like 007 type deal? What's going on? I saw Raiders Ma in the house. What's up, Raiders Ma? Sarah Lewis jumped in there earlier. Seriously. All right. Kim Dog Mama. Becca Malvo. What's going on? Yeah, we have some stuff to cover. Now, I want to be very clear as we go into a lot of this stuff. It might seem recently that somehow maybe James has changed his mind, talking about myself in the third person, which is always attractive. But, maybe he's changed his mind. Maybe I feel differently about the OG3 now. It's not so much that I feel differently about the OG3, but here's my mindset. If I'm going to take the position that I'm going to defend somebody or talk about somebody, I want to make sure that I put my best foot forward and I'm being honest, and I'm an honest broker in my criticism, my observation, and my reactions, as well as my commentary. That's important to me. And I think that it's important to the cause of trying to not only explain, but to delve into why they do what they do, why they did what they did, and more importantly, why we understand it, but at the same time, we're not necessarily excusing bad behavior nor naivete. You say, James, but isn't that the same thing? I mean, these ladies have been through enough and you are tormenting them by saying things about them. I am not. One of the clear examples, I'll give two examples. The more relevant social or media conscious example of what I'm talking about. There is an American poet by the name of Eminem, Marshall Mathers, Slim Shady, whatever, right? And there's a thing that he had is he's a rapper that he would do battle with people. And one of the things that he displayed in even 8 Mile or in his beef with Mariah Carey is that he will talk shit about himself. So he recognizes all his mistakes, all his shortcomings, and he's the first one to bring it up. So the other person who is his adversary can't bring those things up to use against him, because once you set a bomb off, I mean, it's already exploded. So there's no big bomb that's going to be dropped on any conversation that you're in. Now, I've used this and I've learned this through my experience working with attorneys, that's what they do. If you ever go to a courthouse or you ever go down with go to court or you go to a trial, in practice, any good attorney, if they have something bad on their client, they know that their client did something or there's something that's going to make them look horrible. At the end of the day, they want to be the one to say that to the jury first. They don't want the other person or the opposing party or the adversary party to be able to come out and say those things to the jury as a surprise. And did you know, by the way, this is what they did and they tried to hide it. It makes it look so much more nefarious. Not to mention, if you don't talk about what prospectively these ladies did wrong, then we're not honest brokers. So therefore, when I criticize Cody or I criticize Robin, those criticisms fall on deaf ears because they tend to lean towards bias. And if we're sitting here talking in biases, oh, he just doesn't like Cody and Robin, there's nothing that you can do because he's not being fair and he's not being, just like there's no justice in his observations, then it's easier to dismiss what I'm saying. It's easier to dismiss my opinion. But if I'm willing to say where people who I'm taking up for them and I'm saying that they have shortcomings and these are their shortcomings, and I'm honest with that, then when I'm deadly honest about what Christine or what Robin and Cody is doing, I think that that's more credible. And that's what we're doing here. I'm just trying to be an honest broker. Because one of the things that annoys me about sister wives, and I've been very clear about this. One of the things that annoys me about sister wives, and this might be like trauma dumping from previous relationships or whatever. I despise when people don't keep the record clear. When people come back and they try to reinvent or reinterpret or reimagine the past history of a relationship, things that they did wrong, they come up with like a crazy ass story on how this didn't really happen and how you must be crazy. You must have understood what I said when I said it, even though I said it directly. I can't stand that shit. So I like to keep everything straight. I want to keep where we were at the time this was going on, what our mindsets were at the time that this was going on. And I want to be very clear about that. I find that is also one of the things that if we're going to be completely honest, that's one of the things that robs Christine. That's one of the things that robs Robin and Cody from any real credibility, because they don't take any accountability for what they did wrong. If they came out and said, look, here's where I made mistakes, bop, 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 bop. If Cody ever just honestly came out and said, you know what? When I got with these families, when I first started this family, I had no idea what love was. I had no idea. I just figured, I'm sexually attracted to Meri. She's willing to give it to me the way I want it, when I want it, how often I want it. I thought that's what love was. I felt good. And then when I had an opportunity to get with Meri, part of the reason why I was so hooked on Meri was because she was willing to let me have other women. That's why I liked her. Right? And then when I got with Janelle, I mean, she had money. And, she could swing that thing the way she swung that thing. You know what I mean? Curl her brother's toes. So I like that. So I had two biddies that I was rocking at the same time. Then Christine came in. She was like, she helped me with elevate myself. I thought she could help me elevate my position within the church. That's why I was so attracted to her. She gave me kids. She was all about the family. She was good with the family. And I was okay with that. And I resigned myself that I was going to be a part of this family. And this is what I was going to do for the end of my days. Struggle with these three women and all the kids that we made. Then I had the opportunity to get on television, which led me to the opportunity to get with the type of woman that I always saw myself with. She wanting to be a co-star on television and keep herself relevant and important within the family. She served me the way I want to be served by a woman. That's the type of relationship I like and the kind of relationship I want by her design. And therefore I was in love. That's what I think love is. Was I wrong because I made a promise to these women? Yes. In part, did I mislead them? Yes, I did. And I feel eternally horrible about that. If he were to come out and say that, instead of doing like the bullshit apology, oh, don't feel sorry about the things I said. Not how I felt. Not that I didn't mean it. But I feel sorry about the stuff I said that hurt your feelings. F you, because that's what you meant. You meant to hurt my feelings when you said it, because that's how you felt. If you keep the record straight and you're honest and you recognize where you're at fault, then I believe you when you come back and you apologize. But if you apologize the whole damn time, no, I don't believe you. And no, I don't forgive you. I'm not willing to let it go. You understand what I mean? So when I take these steps to talk about all the truth, good, bad, ugly, inconvenient truth about Christine, Meri, and Janelle. And if things come out about like the OG3 and it's unfortunate or inconvenient, and it's newsworthy or is relevant, I may talk about those things too. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it all the way a buck, because I'm not doing anybody any favors by pretending that 3 people out of this 5-person relationship were perfect and they're thereby untouchable. I don't run my personal relationships that way. I believe I can get it. So like I said, if I'm honest with myself, and this is something I've said on the channel before, probably ad nauseum, but if you're 100% honest with yourself, it gives you a clear carte blanche, the ability to be honest with other people and your observations about other people. If you know your shortcomings, you can damn sure, and you're willing to be brutally honest with yourself, I can damn sure be brutally honest with you. You understand that's where I'm at. So when people are calling in, and like I said, we got some spicy messages. So after these messages, we'll be right back. We have some spicy messages. I mean, they're not too bad. They're not off the hook. I will be a little I'll give a little quiet confession. I do miss Daisy Reyes's messages. I don't want her to feel like she discouraged from leaving a message just because I was playing them last. I was just giving people opportunity who might have more sensitive palates, who can't understand or don't feel where she's coming from, the opportunity to get off. But yeah. I mean, she spoke a lot of truth. It's very straightforward. It's very straightforward in her opinion, and I respect that opinion. You know what I mean? But just because people are saying these things, like I said, they could still call right is right, wrong is wrong. Many of the people who we're going to hear from today have criticized Robin and Cody, took them to task, but they got smoke for everybody. All right. So it is what it is. Yeah, Kathy Ferran in the house. What's going on, Kathy? Yeah, Daisy spicy. She got that spicy meat the bowl. Yeah, that's my girl. So without further ado, let's get into some of these SpeakPipe messages. And just so you guys know, tonight they'll be airing Special Forces. I will be watching it, and I will be doing a reaction on Special Forces. I think that I may talk about it a little bit during the course of the lives starting Sunday. But I think that I'm going to do short form videos as well for this season, both for Special Forces and for Sister Wives, just so people who don't necessarily have 2 hours to cut out their day can enjoy those. So, yeah, we're going to start the videos back into. I didn't really, it wasn't a whole lot last season. It wasn't a lot to talk about, and I kind of felt gypped. I guess that's a horrible slang term. I don't know. I heard that's a slang term. I don't even know what it means. But I felt cheated because there wasn't anything new that they talked about in season 20 or 19, really. Like season 19 was dry as hell. The only reason why season 19 was even relevant or even kind of interesting is because we knew what happened to Garrison, and I was curious how they were going to handle his memorial. But other than that, I mean, it was pretty much the same old, are you leaving, Cody? Are you sure you're going to leave, Cody? What about Coyote Pass? Same conversation for the last 5 damn seasons. And of course, Cody doing and his whole redemption arc, which didn't make a whole lot of sense. I knew what he was trying to do, but it just seemed like, why are you trying to redeem yourself amongst people who don't like you? But again, I recognize the fact that I knew that he was trying to reach people who were not fans of the show and had long-standing fans of the show. They were new introduction people who are coming to the show. But I think that, again, he knew that he was on Special Forces, and he knew that that was something that was coming up. It was in the pipeline, and it was coming up. So he was taking advantage of trying to get a couple seasons ahead before Special Forces airs, which is smart. I mean, to be honest with you, I honestly think Cody is working with somebody. I think that Cody has a publicist or a PR person, public relations representative, because it's a smart move. Like, if you really think about it, the Special Forces, if you go back 3 seasons, he started like the whole, oh, they just mad at me, they talk about me, they left me, I didn't want the family to break up, and he's doing a lot of that hemming and hawing, talking about how he's the victim, and he's been doing that for 3 seasons. And then now he's going to come out and say, yeah, when I said mean stuff, I'm coming to you to apologize. So he's the one that's extending the olive branch, and he's the one that's looking like he's past the relationship. He was hurt by these women who abandoned him and the family. Not true, but this is where he's going to try to play it. And then he's going to say that, yeah, they kept talking trash about me, and out of frustration about them talking about me, I lashed out and I clapped back. I fired back on them, returned fire, because I had incoming. And now he's going to say, you know what? I'm going to be the mature one. And I realize that we have kids that we have to deal with together. We're always going to be a family. And as in light of that, I want to make sure that I'm apologizing for the part that I played. And we know that it's not going to be a sincere apology, because in order for it to be a sincere apology, it's not just you sitting there saying, I'm sorry, my fault, my bad, my mistake, oopsies, or whatever you say. You also have to acknowledge what it is you actually did, what you did, why it was wrong, why it affected this other person, and how you're going to make amends for that wrongdoing. It's not enough for you just to sit there and say you're sorry. How are you going to make me whole? Right? And I guarantee you that he has no intention of doing any of that. All he wants to do is just sit there and say he's sorry. He wants to get past it, get over it, and he wants to move forward, which on its surface gives him the opportunity to say, look, I might have been wrong, but I apologize for my part in it. They didn't really apologize for their part in it. And I was the mature one. They're the immature one. So that in season 21 or in separate books, if they come out and release stories about him, he's merely just going to touch back on this apology tour season where he said, I apologize. I don't know why they're still talking about me. They need to get over me so that they can find their happiness. They'll never really be happy until they let me go and get over me. Jeez Louise. Oh my goodness. And that's what we're in for. So this is part of the reason why I like to keep the record straight. I want to be the fair arbiter so that if anybody, at least from my perspective, on my end of YouTube, if anybody has any questions as to what happened, why it happened, when it happened, who did what, they can come to this channel and they'll get the straight up scoop. Who was right, who was wrong, who did what. No fear, no favor, no safe quarter. And if I don't do that, then I'm only helping him. I'm only helping people who did the wrong thing. If I sit here, hide, conceal, and cover up, I'm only helping them. Because then they're going to, I'll guarantee you, and I'm doing a video about this, so keep an eye out. I'm going to do a short for that. Might actually be my first release video. I'm going to do a video on what we talked about last Sunday, on how YouTubers and blog folk, podcasters, people, newspaper people are actually helping them. People who post on Facebook. I get those Facebook posts all the time. You are helping the abuser. You want to sit and talk shit about Cody and Robin, that's fine. But recognize that when you make stuff up, you're actually helping them. 100%. You're helping them. And so being honest isn't just about being honest and not saying bad things about Christine and being that, or being nasty and mean and saying the bad stuff about Christine, Meri, and Janelle. It's also, if they do the right thing, Cody and Robin do the right thing, be willing to recognize that they did the right thing. Does it make up for the ill that they did, the wrong that they did? Probably not. But let's recognize it so that way we're seen as fair, even arbiters. That's my two on that. But we're going to get into these. We're going to get into these. because I just don't like. Yeah, we gonna talk about it because that just really, because I thought about that, and again, that when I'm looking at the PR perspective, the public relations perspective, they hired somebody. I guarantee you, this is what they're telling them. Let those people come out with all those stories. I want to shut them all up. No, you don't, because you did some horrible shit. I watched the show. Like if you pay me, I'm gonna go back and watch the show. I'm gonna watch all the stuff. I'm gonna watch the interviews, and I'm gonna tell them like you did some horrible shit. Like you did some irredeemable stuff, bruh. What we need them to do, we need YouTubers and bloggers and podcasters and the folks on Facebook. We need them to come out with a bunch of lies, misconceptions, half truths, stories that are just made from whole cloth, that aren't true, that don't bear any relevance. And what we're going to do is we're going to pack it all together. We're going to take that truth, the things you actually did, and pack it with a bunch of stuff you didn't do. And then we're going to cite and say, it's just too much stuff for us to go through. There's no way we're going to be able to discern what is true and what isn't. Who knows? And it doesn't matter. That's going to be the linchpin, guys. I'm I guarantee you, that's going to be the linchpin. It doesn't matter what's true because he's already moved on. He's calling for them to move on. It's too much stuff for us to go through, a whole bunch of things that were said that we can't tell what's true, what's not true, because there's so much stuff out there. Let's just take them for who they are today. Forget the past. And that's how they're going to try to get away with it. So we're going to do a video on that. And I hope you guys check it out. Because like I said, we're going to dig into it. But let's rock through this. We have a fan favorite. We have Linda first in the pipe.
How you doing, everybody? It's Linda. James, I think you are absolutely on point. So on iHeartRadio, there's a podcast called I Do Part 2, and they interviewed Meri. She said a whole lot of nothing for about 45 minutes, but a good little bit of something. They asked her if her experience was the same as Christine's, and she said no. Christine's perspective is her perspective, and hers was different. Now, apparently they did watch some of the show because they asked her, about the demise, and she went back and forth. But at one point she said neither one of them were ready to work. They didn't want to work on the marriage. That's why it ended. And I'm like, girl, you were there for 10 years waiting for him to drop that bone. What the hell are you talking about? But then she said, she alluded to the catfishing. She said it was her dark point. And she had been getting therapy and self-help before that happened, and then during, and then after. So she's in this better place, and it's so much different. She doesn't plan on reading it, which means she won't confirm or deny, and she's obviously not writing her own. So unless the other sister wives put out that information, he can get a new fan base, which is freaking horrible. How you doing, everybody? It's Linda. James, I think you are absolutely on point.
Sorry about that. I went to repeat. So nice. We had to listen to it twice. Thank you so much, Linda. I appreciate you saying I was right. But yeah, I think we've all been right. I think we've all kind of guessed it. And at the end of the day, when push comes down to shove, y'all, I'm going to keep it all the way a buck. I think that if Meri wants to come out with a book, it behooves Meri, Janelle, and Christine. If you have something to say against Cody, or if you have something to say against Robin, you are doing yourself zero favors keeping your powder dry and not saying what it is you have to say or the things that you want to say. Why do you say that, James? I say that because you only have about 2 seasons. I'm telling you, the way they're playing this right now, the way Cody and Robin are playing this right now, if you don't come out with your books, it's going to look like one, sour grapes, especially if he blows up the way they're trying to stage for him to blow up, for him to be able to go on and do different shows or have a bigger fan base and move up that way, if that works for him, if you come out after he becomes bigger and say, oh, I got something to tell y'all about Mr. Man. Let me tell you about Cody Browns, right? Then a lot of that will be dismissed as sour grapes. That's how they're going to play it. They're going to say like straight up, they're just jealous. They're angry because the whole thing he tried to do unsuccessfully. They love me. They're just mad because I don't love them. That whole bullshit, they didn't work because he was speaking to the fans who watched the show. That's why that didn't work. He did it too soon. I want to say preemptively. He did it too damn soon. He pulled that trigger too soon. But that could be, there's room for that to be successful if he's successful, or if so much time has passed, then all of a sudden you want to roll a tell-all book out. It's already been revealed that you guys were being dishonest from season 1, episode 1. Before this show aired, in the pilot, you were being dishonest. You talked about how great your family was and how awesome it was and how amazing it was and how he's such an all-around great dad and how he's such a wonderful partner. And none of that was true. Christine was saying that she was thinking about leaving him before the show was offered. And she stayed because of the show opportunity, the opportunity with the show. So it wasn't she stayed because she didn't know what she was going to do and she was committed to the religion and the family. She stayed because they had a show to do. And they were going to get more money and opportunities than she ever thought was possible. So that's why they stayed. That's why she stayed there. And that's by her admission. That's not me saying it. That's her saying it. So with that, I think that, if they're going to come out, again, this is my recommendation. I'm not even saying that y'all should do this just as a hit on Cody. I'm just saying that if you have something to say and you have a story, not making shit up, not trying to create stories or nothing, but if you actually have something to say, come out with your story now when it'll do the most good. It'll have the biggest impact. You get the biggest splash for it. Don't wait for the show to start to decrease or start to become less relevant. Because not only will your book, if you are allowed to have a book, not be publicized or not be published in a way befitting your story, but there's a good possibility that once you start to lose ratings on this show, because again, if you guys spend the next 2 or 3 seasons rehashing the same shit you've been talking about for the last 5 seasons, this show will not last. This show will not last. The numbers will start cutting in half. So unless they have something popping off this season is insane, the numbers are going to, this show's going to start tanking fast. The same way they had a huge spike when Christine left, they'll have a huge decline if they just don't do these couple seasons right. So, and I'll be honest with you, I'm going to keep it all the way a buck. Coyote Pass is not going to be enough. Coyote Pass is not going to be enough. So you better come with something heavier than Coyote Pass. Coyote Pass, hopefully, is the one thing that we already know about that you guys talk about in the previews that you're gonna get to the show, and then all of a sudden it's
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
because they got something big to say. That's what I expect to happen. You know what I mean? But if you guys come out, you're Coyote Pass, what we gonna do about Coyote Pass? I hope I get my land and money from Coyote Pass. Coyote Pass is where we need. That's the whole reason I came down here, for the Coyote Pass. If that's what you do, this shit is over. This is over. This show is dead as fried chicken. Okay? Done data. And they'll come out and be like, no, this is important because it's so interesting, because it's Coyote Pass and its closure.
Sure, Jan.
You know what I mean? Show you right. that shit ain't gonna make a difference. I'm good. I already know what happened in Coyote Pass. I'm good. You know what I mean? We can see it unfold. I don't give a shit. I don't need to see how the sausage is made. Okay. At this point, because I mean, to be honest with you, Coyote Pass, like the division of Coyote Pass, left me unfulfilled. Okay. It left me unsatisfied. It left me wanting. Okay. It teases me because you pretend like them getting 1/4 of Coyote Pass after they dumped a shit ton of money into Rob. I'm sorry. I almost said it. Into the McMansion, Cody's house. After you gave Cody enough money to buy himself a little tiny mansion that he used and later parlayed into the shit show chateau for $2.1 million. And that's all built on the fact that the money that he stole from the family, and you guys are walking away with like a measly ass 25% of land that you paid for. You paid for that land 2 or 3 times. And you walking away with that. Psh, this is some bullshit. Like, this is crazy. What are we doing? This isn't fair. This doesn't make me happy. This don't put me in a happy place. This is like going to the casino, feeding the lottery, you know, the slot machine, you know, all your money, and then you walk over and you play $5 blackjack. You hit a blackjack, woo, $10. I put $200 on the damn slot machine, and I won $10 from the back blackjack table. So I should be happy. I better run out of here with my winnings. Ooh, I better get out of here before they get me. Right? You got ripped off. And that's what we're watching. Like, we're watching them get ripped off. We watch Christine get ripped off. And I like how she said in the book. She said something in the book that I've been saying. So thank you for watching the show, Christine. I appreciate you. Maybe you could click in or call in at some point. Because she said what I said in the book. She was like, well, maybe I should have signed my portion of Coyote Pass over to Janelle and Meri, or sign it over to the family, put everybody's name on it. You think? You know who said that? 2 thumbs. This freaking guy. This guy said that. You should have gave it to them. They the family, so at least that way they would have had their name on 2 pieces of property. Meri would have got her name on 2. Janelle would have got her name on 3. You know what I mean? They had had better leverage to be able to do the stuff that they wanted to do. At that point, the only thing that Cody could have done is he would have just had the 1 piece of land that him and Robin's name were on, where they could have decided if they were going to sell. They could really decide to sell. But this whole thing, this is terrible. This is terrible. I don't want to celebrate this. This ain't a win. You ain't even breaking even. What are we doing? Maybe y'all don't know how to spell karma, because you damn sure don't know what it is, right? Oh. But that was Linda. Next up, we have Carmel Cuties up in the house.
Me, Carmel Cuties. I was on my way to work this morning and re-listening to parts of the book, and it actually got me thinking. The part where Christine says that they would sit with producers and basically go over storylines for the show. And my thought process when it comes to her originally leaving Cody, and the story that was put out there was supposedly because all of a sudden he tells her they're not going to have an intimate marriage. I'm wondering if that was just the lie that was supposed to be told or sold to us to cover up the real true reasons. I mean, yes, we all seen that he dogged out Isabel, didn't go to her surgery, and that would piss any parent off. But ultimately, I would think that the producers would pretty much say it's easier to sell he didn't want to be intimate with Christine than it would to say anything of abuse, neglect, or that he's been dogging them out for so long, which we already know, but they never want to fully admit on camera. Just a thought. Tell me what you think.
That is a good point. That is a damn good point, Carmel Cuties. And that is something that she did say in the book. She was like, they get together with the producers to talk about storylines and what storyline they're going to talk about during the course of the show. Because what they do on reality shows, they don't take each individual argument. They figure out, if they film a bunch of stuff, they can say, this is the footage that we have this argument and that argument, we could build out this storyline. And those storylines have to be approved by the cast members, sister wives, Cody and all them, which explains why so much of it is left on the cutting room floor. But then at the same time, this adds to the feeling, or at least the perspective, that a lot of this stuff is not true. And it's just merely a storyline, which again, if Cody and Robin have a PR person, this is one of the things that they are going to say. Is they're trying to farm him out to other shows, they're going to say that. Cody and Robin aren't that bad. This is just a storyline that TLC came up with to make Cody and Robin villains because somebody has to be the villain and they're the easy targets. And Cody actually volunteered to do it. He thought his shoulders were broad enough to take on the role of the villain. He didn't want his wives to be the villains because he thought it might damage their relationship with the kids. So he took it upon himself because he sacrificed himself. He was protecting them as the man in the relationship, as the he-man in the relationship. This is what he did. Right? I don't believe it, but that is one of the things that they're going to deploy. That none of this shit is true. He soft tested it by saying that there was a guy who came out in the look back and he said, look here, you only see about an hour of our lives. You're not with us 24/7. That's basically a soft pedal of that argument. That this is all storyline. How many people on 90 Day Fiance came out with that storyline? That same excuse. Their show airs, they look bad, they come out and say, oh, that's just the production company making me look bad. They picked on me. They made me look like shit. That's what they do. TLC, that's what they're masters of. They're masters of making you look like you're a horrible person when you're not. So absolutely. And then, if Christine decided she was going to leave because of Isabel, it would make sense that Cody would agree, okay, she's leaving me, but I don't want it to be because of Isabel, because there's no way he's going to accept responsibility for that. I didn't go and see Isabel. It eventually became a storyline anyway, but I'm sure it was against his wishes, because you notice they never talked about it during the tell-all. And that's how you know that shit is something that he's bitter about. And he didn't okay that storyline. But it would make sense that he wants the explanation to be, the reason we're not together is because I chose not to sleep with her because she disgusts me and she's not doing the right thing. Because it's not my fault, it's her fault. If she were to do the right thing, then I would be in there knocking them boots. But because she doesn't know how to submit, or whatever the hell he's gonna say is a manosphere person. She don't submit. She's not a traditional person. She don't cook. She don't clean. She don't do the things of what woman's role. Because she don't do that, I feel like I ain't gonna go there and rearrange them guts for her. So crazy and crass. That's so crass. But that's you understand what I mean? That's where he's at. And he's willing to take that hit as opposed to being a neglectful father. I'd rather be the guy who doesn't want to be lay with a woman because I'm not an animal. I'm not a possession. If I choose to use my autonomy and not give you a sexual release, that's my prerogative. As a husband, that's my prerogative. If I don't want to go lay with my wife, I don't have to. If she doesn't want to lay with me, she don't have to. Like, I can't, there's nothing I can do to make her. And I don't have no rule like, that's my body. That's you have to do what I tell you. That's not a thing. Right? So it works both ways. And he's trying to tap into that progressive argument. Whether we like, you know what I mean? So it does make, like what Carmel Cutie said, it does make sense. But I did want to respond to what Cindy from Oz had to say. Cindy from Down Under. She said, hi, everyone. If Meri writes a book, the way she does her salty birches, it will be messy and confusing and nobody will understand. And that's one of the things. And part of the reason, if I'm going to keep it all the way a buck, to comment on that, Part of the reason why it will be messy and hard to understand is because Meri has been spending the last 19 seasons, like most of them, hiding herself. So she'll come out and said, I will no longer be silent. I will tell my truth. I will speak it out loud and I will not shut up for anyone. And she hasn't said shit since the season started. She hasn't said anything. She hasn't said anything. What has she revealed? Everybody else is revealing her stuff. It's to the point where I'm like, Christine is telling her story more than she's telling her story. And then she gets mad when Christine tells her story. That's not Christine's story to tell. That's my story to tell, which is true. But Meri, let's be honest, you're not telling that story. You're still on the, we were in love and we were together and we were making a family. I disagree. Boo boo. I disagree. I'm disagreeing as a full-grown ass man. I disagree. You were making a family. He wasn't. Sorry. Sorry to tell you. He wasn't making a family with you. He popped some kids in your ass. Yeah, he did that. But, you know, making children no more makes you a father than being with a woman for years makes you a family. Both those things come from the heart. Both those things come from the heart and from the mind where you make a decision to be those things. You commit to be those things. You commit to being a father. You commit to being a lover. You commit to being a companion. You commit to being a parent. You commit to being a husband. But he wasn't committed to you guys. Sorry, that's not the case. Just because his circumstance and situation limited his choices, so he couldn't decide to be with somebody else because he wasn't in a position to do it. And you said, how do you know that, James? Because as soon as he had the ability to do it, he made a different choice. As soon as he had the ability to leave and go find happiness where he wanted to find happiness, he made a different choice. That tells me that you were never the one. You were never the one. Sorry. That's just my opinion. I don't think you were ever the one. Oh, we was happy in the beginning. Why? Because he was 20 years old. He was finally being able to lay with a woman frequently. You think, look, according to this dude, according to him, he had one lover in college or whatever. Right around his college age, between 18 and 21. He had one woman in 4 years. And you think because he was jumping on top of you every 2 seconds that was love? This dude was backed up. He was backed up. He was like, what? I got a license to roll? Oh, I'm rolling every chance I get. I can do it. I got a place. I got a house. Man, ain't nobody gonna come in and kick the door in. I gotta worry about jumping out the windows. You know what I mean? Oh, my pop's home. You know, now you gotta worry about none of that shit. So yeah, let's not get it twisted. Let's not get it twisted. I'm just saying. Chitty chat. Meri takes 2 steps forward, 100 steps back. I'm out of here because I choose to be out of here. But you know, we was together. We loved each other. It was beautiful. That's how I know she ain't done. Because usually people, you know, it's nice to think, oh, everybody got like their own, you know, their own point where they just like, I'm going to call it what it is. We were in love at one point, but now we're just moving on because I'm that mature. No. You still want it because most of the people I know to get dumped the way Meri get led on, drug out, and dumped, there's no way. I'll be begging you not to write a tell-all book. Please don't talk shit. Stop talking shit about this man, please. F him till I die. F him till he die. F him forever. You out of control, man. I takes no short, son. You know, so yeah, I don't know. Well, we have a Neglet 3, $2 super treat. Hirschdown James. They've been on Meri since day one. It ain't giving Mary no breaks. But I'll tell you why in a minute, because we have somebody who addresses it, and I'm going to add to that. But thank you so much, Negla 3. I know that's your girl, Negla, but we're going to have to talk about it. We're going to have to talk about it. Ellie says she'll never tell. She'll never, ever tell. No, she ain't never going to tell. Because if she tell it, there's a chance that he might come back. He might change his mind. He might get tired of humping and bumping and jumping on Robin. He might come on back and taste my turkey. No, he done with the turkey. This dude gonna go vegan before he go turkey again. He done quit you cold turkey, Mary. How about that? Okay. Because if he look, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna tell you what every parent in the world know, every adult, every old head in the country know this one fact. And nobody gonna have some hot ass or some stiff wood laying up next to them. Pardon my vulgarities. Ain't nobody gonna have no hot shot laying next to them and available. Open, available, and ready for the business. And they ain't taking advantage of it. Everybody got an off night. Shit. Cody like drinking that beer. You telling me this man go to the bar, come home, Robin getting on his nerve, Christine ain't available. She, done locked him up out the house. Janelle, she mad about something. You tell me since they've been in Vegas, that was season 2. Since season 2, he's been able to release anytime he want with any of these other 3 women. You can't tell me this dude be constantly putting his foot in his damn mouth. So he walking around the streets drunk as hell. Everybody done got look. If you've ever had a wild night out, everybody did the drunk call, the drunk text. They done called their ex. You know what I mean? He did some stuff that they be like, what the hell was I thinking? I said I'd never call this woman again. But you have enough of that. Then all of a sudden it's, hey, now, what you doing? Girl, I know it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm just trying to, just want to see how you doing, girl. I mean, I was in the neighborhood. I was thinking maybe I'll come by your house, we could talk and stuff. And you get over there, get to talking, get to laughing. Then you look in the face and be like, hey, how about we go upstairs and get some rest? How about we go upstairs and get some rest? Yeah, shit. If you've been out drinking, you know what that's about. You can't tell me he had perfect harmony with all 3 of his wives. There was a time, there's been more than a few times the 3 women all 4 was mad. But Meri was the only one who wasn't getting none. So if he had called up and said, look, Meri, I'm going to come by. I'm going to swing through the night. What you thinking? Meri be like, the door going to be open. Only thing I ask is you come in through the back door. I mean, not that back door, but so cause when they're in the cul-de-sac, that way the women can't see him come in. I don't know how Meri get down, but you understand what I'm saying? This dude, man, and he been denying you for that long. Man, he ain't with it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He said, I don't care. If you could have a divorcee couple, they could hate each other. But if they live in the same house, at some point, something gonna happen. So guarantee it, because somebody will be like, you know what? I'm bored. Yeah. I ain't been out in a minute, Maybe we could just use each other. So no. If he ain't taking advantage, Meri, trust me when I'm telling you this. And especially if he paying a bill at your house, if he paying a bill, you know what I mean? And this go both ways. This ain't just him paying, being a man paying a bill. He gonna expect something. if there's a dude and he laying up in some woman's house and he ain't paying the lights, he ain't paying cable, he ain't even got a Netflix account. Okay, is she paying for everything? She putting a roof over his head, food in his belly, and sheets under his ass when he's sleeping. Oh, she coming in the room. Oh, you gonna have to work that out. You gonna have to pay. Okay? No. No. We grown folk. We grown. We know. We not new. We not new. We not new. And Meri is like 7'11". You know what I mean? She was like 7'11". She might not always be doing business, but she was damn sure open. You understand what I mean? She was open for the business. If he ever decided he wanted to swing through and get some yoo-hoo, right? Meri would have gave it to him. Trick or treated his ass. Just knock on the door and let a player know. You know what I'm saying? Just call me early. I'll go upstairs, drown this cat, and we can get at it. No. We grown. We grown. Megatron. What did Megatron say? Oh, Megatron, you coming in with the nonsense, Megatron. What a Big Red? Well, let's go Big Red first. My ex-husband moved hell and high water to sleep with me after the divorce. Yeah. Shoot. You remember what it's like? Like, we might not look. Maybe we don't get along. All right. Maybe we don't get along. But there's one thing we did good. You might not want to talk to me after. But it's been a minute for me. How's it been for you? It's cold out here in this single world. I'm just saying, why don't we just, knock it off? That way you can go on your dates in peace. You ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to sit there and rub your legs like a grasshopper. I done tighten you up. Please. They be out there begging shit. You kidding me? Because they remember what it was about. And Megatron said, Big Red, it be like that sometimes. It took me 4 years to finally cut it off. Yeah, because you familiar. That's the beauty. I mean, I won't say that's the beauty of it, but that's just the reality of it. That's somebody you familiar with. You know what it is. You know. And if y'all, depending on how long y'all was together, you know that this person know and how, the chemistry worked. In most cases, that they know what they know where your spot is. They be hitting that spot. Be like, okay, I only have to train this one. So yeah, people probably listen to me like, this dude is crazy. He done lost his damn mind. What is going on with James? He is on one tonight. I'm just saying, girlfriend Meri, look, Meri, I'm telling you. I know he got 3 wives. I'm just saying. There's going to come a time where homeboy just going to be like, he going to hit the bar and Robin going to look at, don't you come in this house? You been drinking. You like, who don't mind me drinking? Meri. Meri going to have that door wide open. You come on in here, Cody. You can rest your head. We got a place for you to put your head down, Cody. Meri would have gave his ass the business. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Look, we grown. All right. This grown folk conversation. We know what it is. This dude, he's supposed to be, they supposed to be stroking out checks for each other. Meri been writing this man money checks. She'll write one of them checks out and gonna have in a note, see you tonight. Make sure you do some push-ups because you're gonna be in there. Make sure you do some push-ups and you stretch. Because you're gonna be in there working this money. This is some good money I done gave you. Because she was giving them like sister wife money from TLC, and she was breaking them off some of that MLM money. Oh yeah, bro, you gonna be in there pumping and sweating, brother. You gonna have to work that. You got to work that like a part-time job. There ain't no way in the world she's gonna be like, okay, let me just stroke you out a check. Ain't nothing free. Mary gonna be sitting there fatting herself with $100, just throwing bills at his ass. You know what I mean? She like, I'm gonna break this $200 because I'm gonna have Cody out here shaking his ass on the on the coffee table. You know what I mean? So I'll make it rain on Cody. I don't know. Hopefully she, throwing dollars at him. She might go down there to the bank, get a bag full of pennies and shit, just start throwing it like, ain't gonna make it rain. I'm gonna make it hell, mother. Ow, 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 ow. Jody Pierce Scholar, menopause kicks in though. Yeah, this is true. This is true. But there's also, what do you call it? Because around the time that she was like, he cut her off, she wasn't in menopause at that time. I mean, menopause will start slowing shit up. No doubt. No doubt. I recognize that. But Jody Pierce Scholar with the $1.99 super chat. That's true. That's true. I mean, at this point, yeah. But see, I'll say it this way, though. Because I think at this point, Meri has been without for so long, and you get it in your you get a taste for something. You have a craving for something, you just can't get it. It doesn't go away. And after a while, it becomes more important that you pursue that thing. And it's like it's almost like a damn I used to say this about guys all the time. It's almost like a dog chasing a car. You know what I mean? Like if you ever catch it, you don't know what you're going to do with it. But you just so determined to get it. You just, she wanted so bad. She wants that companionship, that love, attention, affection that she had before so bad that does it just come down to knocking boots or getting busy? No. But she wants that companionship. She wants that position back that she used to have, that she covered so much. She wants that back for sure. And that has nothing to do with with menopause. She wants her position back. And it's not coming back. And Cody is the keeper of the gate. So if Cody brings her back in, he's the one that can give her position back. Because her power, her influence is a direct relation. This is what I said about Robin. For the longest time, her position, Robin's position, depends solely on Cody and how he feels about it. It's not about what Meri thinks. Kathy said, where's that? He said, Meri, Cody gonna come by. Meri would have had Cody come over there soaking. Not in the hot tub either. That's something Mormons do. It don't make no damn sense. That's a lie. You can't tell me you doing all that. Wait, hold on one second. Oh, got two from Nicola. Hold on one second. So we had Jody Pierce Scholar. Let me get a little something. And then we had Negla 3, $2 super chat. No lies detected. HBO, help a brother out. HBO special. Hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell for notifications. And definitely hit that like button. All right, we're gonna get back to it. We're gonna get back to the business. we gonna get back to the business. Candace.
Hi, James. This is Candace. I haven't called in a while. How are you? Love your community. Love the panel you're doing. Anyway, I've been doing the Audible book with Christine, and I'm on chapter 29, but I'm just finding myself getting very annoyed by some of, I think by her voice, first of all, because it's very like just everything is like rainbows and unicorns and Pollyanna, and I can't take that. I'm too real of a person to like listen to her voice sometimes and the way she speaks. And I'm glad she's writing her book and she's telling some of her truths. That's fine. I'm all about that. But sometimes I feel like she's still covering for polygamy and not totally calling it out and not being totally real about it. And everything has like, she's like, oh, she was talking, a chapter was about her diet and how she changed her life and she got on a great diet and doing all this stuff. And I had to fast forward through that part because I just couldn't take her giving advice. And, you know, she always has like answers and how everything, she could solve all these problems, you know, and for complicated problems. And I can't take it. But anyway, it is good reading material for helping.
Oh, she cut off. We have a second one from her. Hold on a second. Where's my thing?
Hi, James, it's Candace again. I was going to say, I got cut off, but I actually was having trouble sleeping one night, and I listened to the Audible, and her voice will put you to sleep. I will give Christine that. She has a very calming voice. Like, she could definitely, I think Sarah said on the YouTuber said that she should read children's books. Like, she has that voice for that. But anyway, I just, I don't feel that Christine is fully healed and processed her trauma, because this is trauma, the way she lived and the way she was treated. It was straight up abuse. And I think you're alone in that kind of world. And no one had her back. I don't think any of them had each other's backs, really. So I just think there was a lot of betrayal and all kinds of things that Cody totally like exploited. So I think her book would have been better to wait it out and process through, probably when the show ended. And it would have been a better, maybe more real book. But knowing Christine and the way she views the world in this very toxic positivity kind of view, I'm not sure it will ever totally be real. But anyway, just wanted to get your take on that. All right, thanks.
All right, Candace in the house. I will say this. There was one point where I think it was Brittany, not Brittany, when she had read the book, she reviewed the book, and she said, if they, no, it was Tanya Carter. It was between Brittany, not Brittany, and Tanya Carter. They said that they are so tired of hearing her say rubbish. This is rubbish. This is complete rubbish. This is rubbish, right? And when I was listening to the book, because I listened to it, I didn't buy the book, and I'm glad I didn't, because you know, it was okay, but it was. I wouldn't. See, here's the jacked up part. I'm not really recommending the book. I'm not recommending the book. That's why I didn't roll out right off the top and say, guys, we got to get this book and we got to go through it, because it's not a lot of meat on the bones. It's just not, right? And I would even challenge anybody who reviews the book on YouTube. There's a reason why they have to do 5 and 6 chapters at the same time, because it's not a lot of meat in the bones. It's just not. But the one phrase or word that annoyed me after a while was when she would say perfect. It was perfect. We met each other. It was perfect. I wanted my life to be perfect. When I met David, he's perfect. I'm like, that's troublesome to me. Because like Candace was saying, maybe it's me. And I'm willing to admit that. Like, I'm willing to be honest about it. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just so jaded that I'm looking at it, I'm like, nothing is perfect. What are you talking about? If it's perfect, there's something wrong with it. You just haven't seen it. Like, you're being bamboozled. Like, if I go into a relationship or a situation and I'm like, it's perfect, right? not it's a good situation or I'm enjoying it or I'm enjoying the experience or whatever the case may be, but I'm like, everything is perfect. And that's how I see everything, then I'm missing a lot of stuff. Right. And that's how I kind of feel about it. Like when I listen to her talk, I think that was one of the things that kind of bothered me, because if you going into a relationship and being positive about a relationship, to me, is not going in. Positivity is not seeing zero flaws. Everything is perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. That's not realistic. That, to me, that's not even what love is. Right? If you love somebody, you accept the good and the bad. Right? You know about the bad things and the things that they might do that's going to annoy you, or things that you don't like, or whatever the case may be, but they don't rise to the level of you not being with them because you care about them so much, but you know about them, right? If you love somebody so much that you ignore the bad things, or you pretend like those bad things don't exist, to me, that's not love. That's not perfect. That's it, the definition of imperfect. Not only is it imperfect, it's unhealthy. If you're looking at David, and this is where I started questioning our relationship with David, because if you're looking at David and you're saying, "Oh, he's perfect. He's perfect. He's perfect. He's the most perfect person ever to be perfect in a perfect life in a perfect situation." If that's how you see it, then girlfriend, you in for a heartbreak. Because as soon as you figure out that he's a human being, you're fucked. Pardon my French. Okay, you're screwed. All right. If he's a great guy, he's a wonderful man, maybe he wake up and when he go into the bathroom, his ass stink when he take a shit, or he burps, he wakes up in the morning, his breath smell exactly like his ass, right? Because it breath be kicking. He's a human being. Okay, cool. I can work with that. Right? Or sometimes he gets on my nerves because he's so strong-willed and he's also used to doing things on his own. One of the other things that kind of was a little troublesome to me is that she was so determined to get married because everything was so perfect that she still hadn't dealt with a lot of her trauma, right? And a lot of her issues. And he's committed. He sounds like, I mean, to his credit, their credit, hopefully this is the case. It sounds like he's committed to helping her work through those things. And the fact that they're married and committed to each other is only going to, cement the fact that he's going to do that. That's awesome. But it's always troublesome when you don't deal with your past and then you bring those issues from your past into your present relationship and they're unresolved. You put your partner in a situation where they're now not only dealing with your past pain, but they're suffering the consequences of somebody else's misdeeds. So somebody else did something wrong to you, and now you're blaming and holding your new partner accountable for those things. It makes your relationship hard. It's not even so much that it's a terrible, horrible thing, but it just makes your relationship that much more difficult, and it leads to the possibility that it's more likely, or it increases the likelihood that the relationship will fail because of that. So, I mean, the whole idea of perfect, like that's scary to me. Just like if somebody said, yeah, that's scary to me. Like if somebody said, we're having trouble in our relationship, we're like kind of on the rocks. So what I'm going to do is I'm either going, if you're a birthing person, I guess, I'm gonna have a baby. We're gonna have a baby, and that's gonna fix all our problems. Or we're having problems. He's cheating on me, and we're going to get married. That'll stop him from cheating. If I heard somebody say, when I hear somebody say a relationship is perfect, or somebody say they're going to get married because the people are cheating on them, or they're having trouble and difficulty, and they argue over money all the time, so they're going to go out and get pregnant. That, to me, that's the same shit. Right? The same warning bells are going off. My spidey sense is going crazy when I hear stuff like that. So, like that whole perfect, that bothered me. All right, got Lizzie B in the house. What's up, Lizzie? Say she just popped in. Awesome. How you doing? But yeah, I feel what Candace is saying. You know, she's on to something. She's on to something. I think we had super chat. Oh, there was this Raiders Ma. Remember for 6 months. Now, imagine how much crazier Meri would have been if Cody threw her a bone, pun intended, every now and then. Yeah. She couldn't leave. Like you could, you know. Since we doing puns, you know, there's an old saying: when you got a stray on your porch, don't feed the cat because you never get rid of them. You know what I mean? You definitely wasn't trying to feed the cat. So, so yeah, I mean, it would have, but even then, like, to be honest with you, if he was knocking it down like every once in a while, he'd go over there and do that thing, right? That would actually, I think that would have actually made more sense for her to stick around and do the whole, like, I felt confused and conflicted because he would come around my house and we would lay with each other, and you know, he would say a bunch of sweet romantic things, and he hit her with the army of darkness. You know, that's just pillow talk, baby. That's just pillow talk, baby. You know what I mean? People say stuff when they, you know, after they in the afterglow. Things get said that aren't often meant, you know. Girl, we're gonna make it out, dude. I'm gonna take you to the top of Space Mountain, baby. Say a bunch of nonsense. Yo, then it would be like, okay, yeah, she got caught up. You know, he was leading her on. He was doing things with her. 1 minute he telling her he don't want her, but then he keep taking his ass over there every other weekend. Right? Yeah. But that would also mean, see, here's the thing though, because that would also mean that technically he would have been cheating. Because if it's somebody else's night and he's going over to Mary's house to play house on like a random ass Tuesday afternoon, he just over at Mary's house kicking up heels, and it is Christine's night, and she wondering why there ain't no gas in the you know, why the canoe ain't got no oars in it, you know. Like, what's wrong with this thing? What's wrong? You know, this don't flat as a tire that's been sitting out in the yard for 4 months. What happened? Oh no, you know, he wore out from working Meri out. So that would affect the other wives and they flow. So that wouldn't be good either. Like, he could say, like, I'm over at Mary's, I'm gonna spend the night at Mary's house, do my thing, whatever. Me and Meri gonna, you know, we gonna chill. Me and Meri gonna chill. We're gonna try to work stuff out. Then the wives would have to open the schedule back up. But if he's spending the night at Christine's house and he go over to Mary's house and relieve himself and then come over to Christine's house and just sit there on his phone and he's disinterested, that's not productive for anybody else. That hurts their relationship. And technically, I think that would be cheating. You know what I mean? Because they can do like because they do have rules as far as like who's supposed to be where doing what. So I don't know. But yeah, here's the speak pipe information. You guys want to get included on the Thursday night dealio. Next up, we got Angie in the house.
Hi, James. This is Angie, first time caller. Love the show. My question is regarding Meri, and I believe this was talked about in the last member live that's public. I've always got the feeling that she stayed kind of out of spite. Her remark on the couch interview that I've seen multiple times, although I don't know if she said it multiple times or if they just recycled it because they're masters at recycling. But in that clip, she's very emphatic and she says, I helped create this family. And it seems to me like she really feels a sense of entitlement or ownership over these people. And I just wonder if that mindset is why she stayed, fully knowing that none of these people really wanted to have anything to do with her for whatever reason. Anyway, I just wonder if anybody else has ever had that feeling about it or if it's just me. Thanks so much for letting me ask this question, and I look forward to the next video. Thanks so much. Bye.
So that was Angie. Thank you so much, Angie. And to be honest with you, that's something that I said early on. Like that was an observation I made early on. At the end of the day, one of the things that I think made Meri so committed to being in the family is because she saw herself as a founder of this family. She sees herself as a founder of this family. One more again for the people in the back row. She sees herself as a founder of this family. So as one of the founding parents, not fathers, but one of the founding parents of this family, she thought that her and Cody were partners, and they both had the same way he thought that he had ownership over Christine's house. She thought she had ownership over this family. And the reality of it is that shit is all an illusion. Okay? When you pull the curtain back, like I said, I've been around these people, didn't participate, but I've been around these folks. Not necessarily the polygamy people, the open marriage people, the swinger people, and all them kind of folks. I've known those folks. And they all have the same bullshit line about, women empowerment, the women make the decisions, and the women's the ones who do all this, and they the real drivers, they the real bosses. And when you pull the curtain back, it ain't nothing but a little dude standing there with his winky and his dinky. Okay? That's all it is. It's not about these women. They don't have control and power. You weren't a founding member of this family. You weren't a founding member of this family because you can't be a founding member of something that at any time he decided he could kick your ass out. Oh, no, they could go back and it's very difficult for them to go. He didn't have to go to her house ever. He didn't ever have to go to her house. If they wouldn't give him a release, he just don't go over to the damn woman's house no more. She just don't see him anymore. She basically is excommunicated from the family. We have this image of like this equality that the Brown family pushed as far as polygamy is concerned. And I am going to call this straight up bullshit. I call bullshit on it. You didn't have a right. You're the same. Oh, if we didn't want Robin to be in the family, then we could just vote her away and say no. If he said, in your faith, and this is just a straight up question, in your faith, what is the order of things? In the AUB religion, what is the order of things? The order of things, to my understanding, is God, man, wife, mother, children. It's not God, husband, wife on equal planes and they make decisions together. No, it's not. It's up to him. The things that Cody allowed his wives to do within the confines of the AUB institution of their type of marriage were all things that were by his discretion. They were all things done by his discretion. If you go to another family, just like in Robin's family, that was also a polygamous family. But he had his wife, first wife, her stepfather, this is the person I'm talking about, her stepfather, the one she calls dad or father. He had a wife who he would see Monday through Friday, every night, Monday through Friday, back to back. He's at home dealing with his kids and his wife, his family. On the weekends, he would swing out of state or swing upstate or whatever and drop by Robin's house and play around with her mom for the weekend. Then he's back to reality, back to his real family. You think Robin's mom could have went to the other wife and say, you know what? This shit ain't fair. I need to get equal time with my husband because not only is he here for my child, Robin, who is his stepdaughter, but we have other children together that he needs to spend time with. He needs to spend equal time with my kids that he spends with your kids. You know what that woman would have told him? kiss my entire ass. And the husband could look her in the face and say, it's not up to you where I spend my nights and what I do. Because that's how their system works. What they told us on the show is utter bullshit. And it was proven later on, because early on they said, oh, if you want to leave, you can take what you want because you're an equal member of this family. You contribute to the family and we're all equal in the same and everybody is equal in the same because we're all believing the women's rights and all that stuff. And we're very progressive. And Cody is just one of the little guys. He's almost like a child. That's what they tried to tell us when they were sitting on the stage of Good Morning America, when they were sitting on the stage with Oprah and he was sitting there trying to play little shy, coy boy who ain't got nothing to do with nothing. And he just basically the servant of these women. But when push came down to shove, the rubber met the road, you heard the real mindset of this man when he was spilling his truth. That was his truth. The Cody that we saw in season 1 and 2, that wasn't the real Cody. The real Cody was season 16, 17, 18, when he was sitting there pissed off and he told these women, look here, what you need to do is be more subservient. When he used coded language like a modern woman, when he said that you call yourself an independent woman, those weren't words of empowerment. That's not what that was. What that was him basically saying, you need to get your shit together and recognize that I am the leader and you are the follower. That's the natural order of things. The same way when Meri said to Cody in season 1, I think it was like episode 10 or whatever, when they went on a little honeymoon, and Meri looked them in the face. They was in Mexico for their 20th anniversary. And Meri said, well, what if I were to take a man and how would you feel if I had a husband? I took another husband. And he looked her right in the face and said, I find that shit disgusting. That's unnatural for you to have more than one lover. If you took another lover, I would find that reprehensible. That would be unnatural. There's a reason why. That he wasn't playing. He didn't mess up. He didn't misspeak. He was dead ass. That's the way they think. That's what they really think. Forget all the niceties. Yeah, it's easy to be nice when people do what the fuck you want. That's when you give them the whole, yeah, you're independent. You're smart. You have a say. When they do, they choosing their say is yes, and they're doing what you want them to do. Then, yeah, they're all on your team. But that's not what this is. These families are progressive or as limited as the husband so decides. Not the person he marries and they get together and they make a decision together. No, it's what he decides. That's why your relationships were all built on making him happy. So when she sits there and talks about, and this is part of the thing where this is what I mean when I say, we're quick to say, oh, she's innocent because she's a victim of circumstances, and this is the victim of the institution of polygamy and the victim of the institution of the AUB and the society that she grew up in. Here's the deal. It's not that, like, even now, when Meri doesn't criticize polygamy or she doesn't say anything ill about this particular institution, which lets me know that she's not fully out of this. It's not that she's upset with the institution. It's not that she's upset with Cody and the way he treated the wives. It's not that she believes Cody did the wrong thing. What she's mad about is she was a partner to setting up a heist and she doesn't like her cut. She didn't like her cut. She got cut out. When they went there, we're going to rob this bank. They went in and knocked the bank off. And the dude come out. He did the old 1 for you, 1 for me. 2 for you, 1, 2 for me. 3 for you, 1, 2, 3 for me. And he just keep going until he start reaching in your pile. And after he gets all your money, You left with nothing. Now all of a sudden the shit's wrong. You know, oh, I can't believe we did this and this. Oh, I can't believe we treated me this way. Can't believe he's such an asshole. He don't want to be with me. But you were okay with it. Because here's the thing. Just like, you know, when we, you know, again, I'm keeping it all the way above. I'm no longer playing around. When push them down and shove, Janelle knew about the money being spent, where the money was going. She saw the books. But here, it begs the question, and this is what I would ask Janelle if I was sitting there on the drawing with her and I was doing an interview. You knew about the money being spent. You knew where the money was going. You knew the shit was coming up short. Here's my question. You upset about it now because things didn't work out between you guys? But had he been coming around and had he accepted your kids and had he been coming by knocking you, you know, knocking it off, kicking your heels back every other weekend or whatever the hell it was, 2 nights a week, would you be upset now? Would you be saying anything now? If he was coming by cracking cheeks, would you be saying anything right now? If he was still knocking back Meri, blowing Meri's wig back, would she be saying anything now? Would she be talking about how unfair it is and how he mistreated Christine, Meri? Or would she be okay with it? When she sat up there and was yelling at, you know, I think Cody was being real when he was older, knifing the kidneys and all that shit. He was hooping and hollering at Christine. And she said, yeah, you know, he said he wasn't just saying words. He was being real. He was being real. He was keeping it real. He said some things that I know he meant it and he was right. Why was he right? Because you saw this as your family. You saw Christine breaking up your family, your family. You didn't give a shit how Christine was taking it, whether she was being abused or molested or mistreated. You didn't give a damn. You didn't. And the only reason you mad is because he said he didn't want to have you included in it anymore. You couldn't get your position back when you was a person of authority in this organization. You got fired. Now all of a sudden they ain't shit. But you was okay with it. This is like if you had a job and a manager is an asshole, and the whole time he's an asshole because he got the power or she got the power and they the manager, they the big boss. And all of a sudden they turn around and get fired. Now all of a sudden they want to talk about how stupid the job is and how it ain't fair and how they mistreat everybody. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about nothing. They don't give a shit about none of that stuff. What they care about is the fact that they can't do it anymore. Let's keep it all the way at stat. Let's keep it all the way at stat. That's where I'm at. You know what I mean? If you, like I said, if Cody's ass was over there, and you know what I mean, he was over there trimming them hedges, then Meri's ass would have been cool. She would have gave a damn about how Christine felt about it. She would have been right next to Cody arguing with Christine. That's why when Cody was sitting there yelling, and he was like, "You got something to say, Meri?" When he went up there yelling at Christine, "You got something to say, Meri?" When he was yelling at Janelle, "Meri, you got something. You look like you got something to say, Meri. Come on now. Come on, Meri. I ain't got nothing to say. I'm so shy and confused." Because she didn't know a position. She didn't feel like she had a position because she was so Cody's shit worked. He had her so unbalanced that she couldn't assert herself the way he was used to her asserting herself, which actually was kind of weird because at the same time Cody was complaining that she was too aggressive. When he wanted her to be aggressive, she wasn't being aggressive. But she wasn't being aggressive because you beat it out of her. That's why she wasn't being aggressive. You beat her docile. That's why she wasn't being aggressive. She was confused. She didn't know what to do because you yelling about being aggressive. Then when you wanted to be aggressive, she didn't think she could be aggressive. And now you're mad at about that. But I'm telling you, if he was blowing her back, and that's how I also know that he wasn't giving it a, you know, he wasn't giving it a thing. Because if he was, then she would have jumped all over Christine's ass. Who you think you are, leaving a family like this? You ain't even gonna try to work it out. What about the rest of us? You just gonna walk away from the family? So yeah, that, you know, not to be an asshole, But that's kind of why I'm struggling a little bit to just be like, okay, we just gonna overlook it. Because like I said, if you are part of the hammer, look, if Cody is the hammer, she's the handle. Okay. If Cody is the hard part of the hammer, the head of the hammer, she was the handle. Because she enforced a lot of the stuff. Cody had the privilege, and this is my opinion, and I'd be willing to bet, my full dollar. I'd be willing to put that full buck on it. My betting limit is $1. And I'm willing to put the full buck on it. That back in the day, he could go to Meri and have Meri go to all the other wives, Christine and Janelle, and talk shit to them. That's why their relationship was all jacked up. Because he would go to Meri. He wouldn't yell at them. He wouldn't yell at Christine and Janelle. He would go to Meri, and Meri would do it. He didn't have to be the bad guy. He could be the eternal good guy because he had the bad guy in his back damn pocket. And I think that's what was going on. And this is all speculation. This is speculation, but I'll be willing to bet on that shit. And when she lost that's why you feel like you lost and you don't know who you are, because you lost your position. That's who you were for a lot of years. You were the enforcer. You felt like a boss because he put you in a boss position. Not realizing, look, she was a manager who had the title but wasn't getting none of the money. Let me say that one more again. You know how you have a job, and then all of a sudden somebody be like, "You're doing a good job." Like, thank you very much. You show up all the time. Thank you very much. You work hard as shit. Thank you very much. I'm glad you recognize that. Maybe I can get a merit raise. Maybe you guys can slide me a couple of them fold-ups so I can put in my pocket. That's some dollar bills. Maybe you can do that. No, what we're going to do is we're going to give you more responsibility. And maybe if you work hard and you really prove yourself worthy, we might even promote you. So you're going to give me more money. You're going to give me more responsibility, the same money, and not give me a title change. So basically what you said is I am changing my title, and my new title is new fool, because that's how you treat me. You treat me like a new fool. Okay? I'm working hard as shit, and I'm going to work even harder. I'm not going to get any money, and I'm not getting a title. And if you give me the title, I expect to have some money to go with it. Because now I'm responsible for stuff. And if stuff don't get done, you won't want to talk to me. So I want commiserate money, because in case I lose this shit because you come and talk to me and you don't like my answers, I need to have something saved up. Right? But what he did to Meri was he gave her all in my opinion, my speculation, he gave her all the authority, and he didn't make her responsible for shit. She didn't have any power. And when push came down to shove and he was ready to move on because he had a new boo, and she wanted that first spot, his favorite. How many times have you worked a job and the boss or the boss's boss like somebody? This mug don't even do half the job you do. In fact, you train this mother and you train them how to do the job. Then all of a sudden your boss come down because they like them and they giggle and they sit there and drink the same kind of coffee at the same time, or they walk to the cafeteria together to have a whole damn conversation about their personal lives. All of a sudden your boss's boss or the boss want to make this motherfucker a manager or a supervisor or something. They want to make him your boss. How many times have you seen that shit? That's what happened, in my opinion. That's what happened in the Brown damn family. You know, all of a sudden, Meri got knocked off. You had, I was the manager, I was the boss. Yeah, you can sit your ass down, boss lady, because we got a real boss coming in now. Robin, we tapping you. You the new manager. You get these women in line for me, Robin. I'm too soft and quiet, Cody. I can't do that. I can't, because I don't want to look bad, Cody. Because I think behind the scenes, Robin was saying way more shit than she was saying on TV. I'm going to put a full buck on that one too. Okay? I think she was like behind the scenes when they was in their privacy. I think Robin was reading them chicks like a book, like a dime store novel. She was reading them up and down. That's what I think. I don't think she was quiet at all. I think she was dropping hammers on him. And then when Meri started bucking back at Robin, then all of a sudden Cody don't mind being a bad guy anymore. He don't, and this is the part where I say that Robin's the one that he won. He didn't mind being the bad guy for Robin, but he refused, in my opinion, I think he refused to be the bad guy for Meri. That's why he kept her around. That's why all the women had problems with her. Because I think a lot of the problems that the women had with Meri, if you trace that shit back, I'd be willing to bet the reason why they was having problems was because of Cody. Cody would send Meri off. That's why I would call her Cody. I told that story before. Working in the rectory, long, short, the head priest, the pastor, he had an assistant pastor. When he had some dirt, the pastor had some dirty work that he wanted to get done. He had some dirty work he wanted done. He sent out his assistant pastor. He was a guy who relished being an asshole anyways. Father Cody was that guy. Like he's funny that way. He would go out and he would be that asshole. And the craziest thing, and I would sit there and watch the whole game unfurl. When he would go be a jerk, the people who he was sent to be a jerk to would always come back to the pastor and talk about how dumb he was, the assistant pastor was, how he's being a jerk, and how his ideas were stupid, not realizing that they were actually talking to the actual architect of everything that the assistant pastor was talking about. So not only did the pastor get to stay the good guy, but in long short, he was able to construct the enemies list from the people who come back and the people he knew he would have a problem with. So if you apply that same principle to the Brown family, he has Meri, he sent Meri out. Oh, yo, I got a problem with what Christine did. Yeah, she getting on my nerves. Meri, I go take care of it. She go down there and start barking at Christine. Then here come Christine back to complain to Cody about how ignorant and stupid Meri is for mentioning this and how it's none of her business. Then of course, Cody could pump her with the dumb stuff and don't give her no satisfaction and send the dumb ass back. Oh, yeah, I mean, you're right. Meri's such a mother. She's just so unfair. But I mean, she do have a point. Maybe we could work on that, okay? Because I don't want no trouble. Cody, you always just on Meri's side trying to be. You got to stop appeasing her. No, Meri's doing what Cody wants. And he gets to stay the good guy. He's such a good man. That's why they thought he was a good man before he got with Robin, because he smoke screened you. He got smoked. Got smoke screened. I don't know. But let's go to Tanya Carter. Daisy Reyes in the house.
So I want to talk about Meri. Something about Meri. I've got a lot of smoke for Christine and Janelle for putting Cody before their kids. And I don't respect that. And Janelle knowing about the money and not saying a damn thing. But we give a lot of smoke to Meri. And I really have to come on now and confess that I have given smoke to Meri, but I also want to give her a little bit of grace. Meri married Cody at 18, 19. She was a baby and she had 3 years with him. And I don't think she really wanted to do the multiple marriage thing, but I think he forced it on her. And she was trying to get his love and attention back for the rest of her life after that. And the whole thing about, oh, Meri's abusive, I think it's verbal. And I think it's because she likes a clean house. She likes shit in order. She likes, if you take something out, put it back where you found it. And I'm all about that. I would never let my kids jump on the couch or be running around the house feral. Like, my house was always clean and in order, and they know how shit needs to go. So if these other women wanted to raise their kids crazy, I would probably be yelling, and they would be like, "Oh, Tanya's verbally abusive to my kids," and I would have the same issue going on. So I kind of got to give her grace if that's really what was going on. I don't like them having her name in their mouth all the time. It's not right, especially if she's just a clean person.
All right. Well, because Tanya has too. And I want to respond to Tanya's first one. Tanya Kata. All right, Miss Kata. Here's the thing. I agree. I think that Mary was young. And I've even said before, historically, that I think that early on, I don't think Mary was excited about sharing her husband with anybody, much less her sister-in-law. Yeah, that's just weird. I mean, anybody I seen in a family reunion, I ain't trying to, be in a romantic relationship with you. I'm sorry, right? But if family gatherings, I mean, I ain't putting on a good cologne to go to the cookout and shit with the family. Like, that's crazy. But I don't think she wanted to share her husband with anybody, because I believe, in my opinion, especially after reading the first book, Becoming Sister Wives, that there's a couple of things with Cody from Meri. I think Cody from Meri was an eye opener, right? Not only was she young when she got with Cody, but her life changed when she got with Cody. What do you mean by that, James? I'm gonna explain it to you this way. I'm gonna say it this way. When she got with Cody, before she was with Cody, she was in the same church as Christine her whole life. Her and Christine grew up in the same damn church, or not damn church, pardon my Lord. Pardon me. They grew up in the same church. I apologize for that. They grew up in the same church. And Christine had no idea who Meri was. And I think that probably held true for most of the people at that church. Then all of a sudden, Cody shows up. He's, his father knows Mary's dad, and he's introduced to Mary's father as a way to come into the church, and he's counseling him and talking to him about converting over to the AUB religion. Then all of a sudden, he meets Meri. For Meri, Cody's this interesting guy. He's full of energy. He gets a lot of attention. He's the center of attention. He's the popular guy. He's everything who a quiet, reserved person who's an introvert, who secretly wants to be an extrovert and admires that lifestyle, admires somebody who can walk into a room and light a room up, wants to be that person. All of a sudden, with Cody, she became that person. Not necessarily because of who she was, but because of who she was with. So when she walks into a room with Cody, Cody's buzzing around the room and people are interested in talking to her. And here she is. She's on Cody's arm. So people are talking to her. She becomes popular by default because she's with the popular guy. So she hit the popularity lottery. So it's not just the fact that when she sees herself with Cody, it's not that she's just so in love with Cody because she's enamored with Cody because Cody just swinging that sledgehammer just the way she love it. It's not that. What I think draws her to Cody is that it's not even so much she loves Cody as much as she loves who she is when she's with Cody. There's a difference. It's not that she loves Cody. It's that she loves who she is when she's with Cody. She liked how, and she grew to like and love how people responded to her because of who she was with and the company she was keeping. Right? So you have that. Then you have the idea that she didn't want to share her husband. So she spent the first part of her marriage with this man whom she likes who she is when she's with him, and she adores him for that. And then she goes from that position to fighting every day to try to secure his time and attention because she now has competition within a sister wife. First Janelle, and then Meri. And then they're in a trailer with thin ass walls. And gotta ask the question, are they quiet? Are they doing like little church mice pissing on cotton? They're there moaning and groaning with the rocking and knocking. Or when they slamming and jamming it, they in there yelling their ass off, hooping and hollering. Right? And if they in there hooping and hollering, hooting and hollering, trying to show out to get it out, right? talking about what they doing and giving shouting directions like they lost on a trail or some shit, right? And you hearing this, imagine how much that hurts. Then you're told the entire time that the most important role that you can play within a family as a woman is providing, because again, polygamy, the root of the principle isn't just so these guys can get their freaky diggy on. It's the basic root of the principle is for you to grow the organization. And you grow the organization by having disciples, having children. And so your primary goal of being in this polygamous relationship is so that you can have children. And then here you are rocking and bopping and doing everything you could do. He finished and you kicking your legs up in the air for 10 minutes, trying to get pregnant, put yourself in position to get pregnant. And Janelle gets pregnant first. Then you have Christine get pregnant. And the worst part is it's not even so much the women, like, hearing the women. It's hearing him, like when could you imagine? Like, comparison and kill the relationship. That's the demon in the relationship. Could you imagine you with your lover and they quiet as a church mouse? Church mouse pissing on cot. They quiet as hell. They just, doing their business. Then you hear them next door and they screaming their ass, oh, please, oh, Lord, please, don't touch me. Oh, wow, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me. Right? That ain't gonna make you feel good. That make you feel terrible. Shit, that make you want to open the window up and walk out that mug. That make you feel terrible. Are you kidding me? And then you have, like I said, Janelle gets pregnant. Then right on the heels of Janelle getting pregnant, you got Christine getting pregnant. Then I think one of them got pregnant again before Meri had her first baby. Right? And then she's limited to one. Then you put them all, you shake them up, you put them all in the house. Yeah, I think Meri kept a nice house because she had one child and it was a little more manageable for her to keep a nicer house. But at the same time, Meri wanted a bunch of kids. And she couldn't have those kids. So she was jealous of these women who already took her husband. Then they take her position because they're having kids and they're growing the family, which is the main goal and the main responsibility of these women within these households. You know what I mean? If we're going to start making, play into the whole stereotype, the stereotype is really you guys are brood mares. Like these women are brood mares. They're supposed to be dropping kids every time you turn around. That's their job. That's the one job that they're supposed to have is growing a family. Having kids, take care of them kids. And so when we ask the question of like whether Meri was maybe a little rough with the children, it could have came from a source of not only correcting them because you care about them and you have rules and standards. It could have came from a place of slight jealousy and envy, acting out. Because again, that's a trauma. That would be an additional trauma that she would be carrying. And it could never be addressed because the second she started complaining about it, they would all lose their minds. How are you going to complain about your sister wife's kids? If you can't complain about somebody getting an extra dress or somebody being able to shop at the damn Costco instead of going or Sam's Club or BJ's instead of going down to the Whole Foods or some shit, if you complaining about that, there's no way in the world you could ever complain about somebody having a child that you wanted and that you can't have and that you're jealous of. So that'd be another thing that you got to keep to yourself. So do I think there's a possibility that Meri might have been a little rough on the kids, unwarrantedly so? Yeah. I think that there's a good possibility that she might have been a little rough with the kids. Because she doesn't strike me as the kind of person that just take it on the chin that she couldn't grow her family. She was still sitting on the couch crying about not being able to have more children. She was not okay with not having a large family and having just as many, if not more kids than her sister wives had. She said she wanted 8 kids, which is 2 more kids than both just Janelle and Christine. She wanted 8 natural children. Not 18 kids or 17 kids from somebody else. She wanted 8 of her own children. Leon grew up wanting to have brothers and sisters that she couldn't give. So there was a constant reminder. You can't tell me if Leon is sitting there still talking about it that she didn't get that from Meri, hearing it from Meri. So yeah, there's a possibility that she was a little rough on them kids. I mean, that's I don't give a damn who you are. Yeah, I mean, James, you don't understand. I don't think y'all understand. Like, I don't think I could do that. Like, you doing everything you can, you drinking orange juice, eating damn celery, anything you could do to try to make more babies. Anything that, you reading a bunch of like wives' tales, you try to, Chinese medicines or Asian medicines, you eat like, rhinoceros ding dongs and shit, what do you call them? Rocky Mountain oysters, bull nuts. Like, you doing all kinds of stuff because you're trying to get it up so that way you can make the kids that like everybody else is doing. So yeah, that's going to affect you. Like, she is like, Meri's a walking trauma fire. Like, she's a trauma dumpster. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that she has going on. So, I mean, I think it is what it is. But let's listen to the last of Tanya Kata's message.
Good morning, James. I got to call in and do my speak pipe. So, my question to you is, what in the hell do you think season 21 is going to be about? Because I feel like they just scratched the bottom of the barrel and pulled shit out their ass to create a season 21. And so I can't possibly imagine, and I don't even feel like season 20 is going to be good. I feel like it's going to be a bomb because we all know now that they've been lying from the very start. If you go back and watch any of the earlier episodes, it's so disgusting to watch now because you're looking at it like, man, you guys are liars. Y'all are just lying. So now it's like, what are we doing? We're pretending to hang out when we all live in different states. Like, it's I don't see how they can carry on. What are they even filming for season 21? Because at this point it's a farce. And we're all just supposed to sit here and eat it like it's real. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. What do you think?
I agree. And I'll be honest with you, this is something I've been kind of hitting on the whole time. Like, one of the biggest problems I had with the sister wife thing, because there's no way that they can pretend to move forward with the previous iteration of this particular show. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. If their kids were younger, it would make a hell of a lot more sense. Still a stretch because, you got drop offs and shit. Like, you ain't got to sit there and talk to each other, hang out and go to the amusement park together, right? You go with your daddy, but I think that, that was one of the first things I had said about, like, moving forward. Where do we go from here? Because there's no natural reason why they would talk. Like, Coyote Pass, sure, that's closing down. That's almost done. Once that's done, what do you have? The kids? Like, you don't have to have a conversation with each other about the kids. The kids are grown. Like, so Cody doesn't have to go through the children or go through the parents or the moms to talk to his kids. Like, you call your kids and talk to them directly. And now with the innovation of cell phones, like, even before there were cell phones, maybe you can make the argument he has to call the house and one of them might pick up the house if the kids are home. Like, if he's calling Truly, he's going to call, and then, David or Christine might snatch the phone off the hook and be like, hey, what's going on? What you want? Sucker MC, right? That's a possibility. But now Truly has her own phone. So you don't have to ever call Christine and arrange anything with Christine. Like, the only thing you might have to arrange like pickup times, drop off times, and if it's okay for you to get her. But just having a conversation with her, you don't have to work, hey, what's going on? What you doing? Nothing. I'm doing this. What's going on in school? That's what I like. This little cute boy in class. Right? That's that. All right, talk to you tomorrow. And that'd be wonderful if he did that, right? But he doesn't have to go through Christine. Janelle, I mean, she's down there with Maddie, but you can call Maddie directly. You don't have to ever call Janelle. And they're Maddie's kids, so that's who Janelle is babysitting. So you don't have to call Janelle and ask permission to talk to Maddie's kids. You got to call Maddie and ask permission to talk to your grandkids. So, and then like as far as like, oh, but you know they got events and stuff. Yeah, you got events, but that don't mean you got to sit with each other. You should be more mature enough to be able to walk into a room with each other and be like, hey, how you doing? I'm all right. Yeah, life going good? Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to go on over here and stand in the corner. You know, which corner? Whichever one is furthest from you. Like, yeah, that's all you need. You know, you go in there and do your thing. They go in there and do their thing. It is what it is. Right? But that doesn't make sense now because, you know, Cody doesn't even speak to his kids. So what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? And this is why I'm saying that, you know, when I was talking about them writing their tell-all books, this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. After a while, it's just you, you know, it's just you causing problems. That's how it's going to be viewed. It's just you causing problems. If you guys aren't together anymore, you're not associated with each other anymore, you have nothing to do with each other anymore, why are you still, you know, not, you know, hitting that hornet's nest with a baseball bat like a piñata? Like, what are you doing? You know, now you just stirring up problems unnecessarily. So if you want to say what you guys say, get it out now. As far as season 21, I have no idea. I mean, I hear they're shooting 21 already, but I have no idea what the hell they're going to be talking about. And like I said, unless they got something planned for season 20, this season might be a dud. This might be a dud ass season. What's even more wicked, I don't know how true this is, and I'm gonna say this right off front. I don't know how true this is, but I had heard like somewhere that they were talking about they had already shot the damn tell-all. If that's the case, this season's gonna be booty. This season's gonna be booty. If they already shot the tell-all, this season is booty. Off top is booty. Because y'all don't even know what the other person said. Part of the reason why you do the tell-all when you do the tell-all and you film it later in the season is that you give each party the opportunity not to, you know, be able to review the scenes that they were in. No, dummy. It's so I can see the confessionals when a person's sitting there being asked questions and they sitting there talking shit. That's the stuff I want to respond to. I want to respond to them what they got to say. Like when Cody called Jen and Mary's friends a bunch of bees, and she come out with that whole salty birches thing, right? And Mary was talking about, oh, see, if I'd known that, I'd got up in his ass like a bike seat. You wouldn't have did shit because you haven't done nothing yet, and you been knew about it. You ain't said nothing. You just sit in a room and let your friends talk shit about them. You know what I mean? That's weak sauce too. Like Mary sitting there and let her friends talk shit about Cody and she don't have nothing to say. You need to get in on that. But all I'm saying is that I don't know what season 20 is going to be about. I'm hoping there's more to it than just Coyote Pass, weak sauce. I hope it's more to it than just him doing apologies. Super fucking weak sauce. I don't care about whether Cody apologizes or not. Because he doesn't mean it. Because unless he goes there, unless he amazes me and he goes and he runs a list of all the shit he did wrong and where he was wrong, how he was wrong, and the things that he could do better, the apologies don't mean anything. I'm just going to say I'm sorry that you was upset, that if I said something to you that made you mad or whatever, hurt your feelings, I genuinely apologize. That's not you saying you did anything wrong. That's just saying if you took shit bad, if you got in your fee-fees, I'm sorry you got in your fee-fees and you was hurt. That's not an apology. That's not what that is. What are we talking about? So, I mean, season 20 might be a wash. And to be honest with you, depending on how season 20 turn, they might film season 21 and kill the show at season 20. And just decide not to move forward with it. That's a possibility too. So this might very well be the last season because 20 is a nice round number. So, I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's just not like I don't think like, and I'll even go. I'll wrap it on this. I say it like this. If I was sitting there talking to somebody from TLC, and they say, James, you review us on YouTube. What are your thoughts? Here's my perspective, homeboy. Fresh off the presses. If you're still talking about Coyote Pass and the apology tour and all that kind of stuff, them trying to reconcile for whatever reason, like who the hell wants to reconcile with their ex? I got exes. I mean, some ended good. Clean majority of my relationships ended on positive, ended. And nobody got their tires flat. Nobody was looking to bust my windows out. Right? People not happy, but like, hey, we broke up. Yeah. But I'm not trying to, hook up with them on Facebook. Hey, girl, what you doing? What's up? You know what I mean? If that happens and you try to get back in there, that go back to the conversation we was having before, right? Hey, what you doing? That's a conversation. That's a different conversation, right? Your ex is your ex for a reason. And you might be cool. Like if I'm running into somebody in the street, hey, what's up? How you doing? Oh, okay, you married now? You got a family? That's great. I'm happy for you. That kind of thing. But it's not like, hey, you still swinging that thing like you used to? I'm just curious. You know what I mean? No. So no, they don't. I mean, it'd be nice if they got along so that they could go to events and stuff, but it's not required. And and Christine is full on married. So no, like I'm sure David, like as cool as story time, as cool as David may be, I'm sure he's not trying to come home and see, Cody sitting in his fucking house on his couch, giggling and cackling with his wife. Right? Story told. I remember there was this dude. Well, I had a townhouse. I was a little co-op joint. And I was in there, and there was a woman who was my neighbor, right? She was living with her boyfriend and her son from her ex-husband. Now, her ex-husband lived down the street. Like his mama lived down the street. And her ex-husband used to live next door to me. But when they broke up, he moved down the street and she was living with her new boyfriend. It was more than a couple occasions that the boyfriend would come home and the ex-husband would be sitting in his house. It got to the point where I ran into the boyfriend at a YMCA. I used to go to YMCA, and I ran into the boyfriend. And hey, James, I hadn't seen him in a while. I'm like, oh, what's up, man? About to say his name, but mess up. And he was like, yeah, man, we was talking. He's like, oh yeah, I'm still with old girl. I'm like, oh, okay, you still with your lady? Yeah, I'm still with her. And we was talking about that. Then he said, yeah, man, I gotta tell you. It's like, I can't get rid of her ex-husband. Like, that dude's still coming. And this is years later. He's still coming around. And I always suspected that they was messing around. Because like I say, he was over there way more than the boyfriend knew. Right? It got to the point where this dude was coming over the house for like Christmas and Thanksgiving. Like he was over there cutting dude turkey and shit. Oh, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. And I'm not even a jealous, insecure dude, but no, there's boundaries to this shit. There's rules to this shit. There's principles. There's principles and principalities to this. You know what I mean? So what I'm supposed to believe that Cody's gonna be like that with Christine, just hanging out at the house and shit, just chilling. When they doing Thanksgiving, Cody gonna get up and be like, I cut the turkey the best, so I should give the prayer and cut the turkey in David's house. Shit. Like, is that what we doing? TLC? We trying to set that up? Unbelievable. Nobody lives like that. Nobody lives like that. You know what I mean? So, no. So I'm not buying it. So like the whole apology tour, again, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. So, like, and my question would be for TLC, if somebody came into the show, now all this that I'm talking about, that means something to the fans who have been watching this show since season 1, episode 1. But to people who never watched the episode of this show, that stuff doesn't mean anything. The significance and relevance of Coyote Pass, of Cody apologizing, doesn't mean anything. The same way I'm saying that Cody will be able to, for new fans who are coming into the show and aren't familiar with the evils that Cody did, him apologizing would look like he's being a stand-up dude, because they don't understand the significance of what it is he did and why he was wrong and why he needs to apologize. We're looking at it like he needs to apologize. Somebody coming into the show doesn't know what he did wrong, so they don't know that he needs to apologize. So the fact that he apologizes, that would be a credit to him. But at the same time, because they don't have that knowledge, historical knowledge of what this family went through and what they were about and the struggles that they had, they don't have the buy-in. So they don't give a shit about Coyote Pass. They don't care about Coyote Pass. They don't care about him apologizing. They don't care. Okay, he apologized. Let him get over it. What are we still talking about? But that's the only thing that they really got going on, or why you would cram them into a storyline together, is so that they can mess with each other and screw around with each other and say mean and nasty things and try to limit each other. And so Cody and Robin prospectively could steal from them again and create more storylines. But other than that, what are we doing? And I don't think that a new person, like as much work as Cody and his PR person did to try to create this redemption arc, the reason why I don't think it'll work is because I don't think that they have enough story to make it interesting enough for a new person who's not bought into the show and into the characters to sit down and spend an hour watching this show. Maybe too honest, but it is what it is. You know? I just don't, and what are they gonna roll out like they're gonna roll out Robin's kids. Got no interest in seeing them. I mean, to be honest with you, a couple fold. One, they're not that interesting. It just is what it is. There's a lot of people who, if you shot my life on a reality show, I'm not that interested. Because I like a stress-free, drama-free existence. So I'm not that interested. That's why my relationship is good, because we're boring. You know what I mean? So it wouldn't be fun. I don't think her kids are interested. One, two, if I'm going to be all the way honest and blunt, I really don't want to criticize her kids. I don't want to go after like 20-year-olds, in the formative years of their life. I don't want to talk shit about them and what they doing, what they're not doing, and how they wrong for what it is they do and how they be an asshole. I don't want to do that. So I don't really have an interest in looking at them or watching the show with them. So I don't know what they plan on doing for season 21. And like I said, unless he somehow finagled and tricked Christine into doing the custody stuff, but that's going to be watered down, pared down bullshit. Because again, there's nothing you don't take somebody, if you're getting along with Cody and you guys are having a good relationship, why are you taking him to court for something that you could pick up the phone? Because you guys have a great relationship and he's awesome. You could pick up the phone and call him and talk to him about custody. If you need money, you could pick up the phone and talk to a guy that you get along with about sending you a check or, paying some of these bills. It's the benefit of having a good relationship with your co-parenting relationship. But if you got to take him to court and you guys are in court battling it out with lawyers and you guys are going multiple times, it's not even like she filed the paperwork. They came to an agreement and they just formalized their agreement in court. That's not what happened. They had full days of court. They went several times to try to get this done, hammer this out. So no, No, I don't think it was I don't think it was a good thing. I don't think it was like positive. And if Christine allowed him to trick her into doing it, then all that's going to happen is you're going to have to get up there, bite your teeth, grit your teeth, and talk about how awesome he is as a parent, or not say anything while he talks about how he can't wait to see his daughter and he misses her so much, and play the victim. Like, so you're handing it to him on a silver platter. So, I mean, that would be a little do-do on, for season 21. And to be honest with you, if you're going to half-ass the story, you're going to bullshit the story, or you're going to give people false information or false hope about how the family court situation works, or you're going to give misinformation about how child custody and child support works because you're trying to play into some type of narrative, I'm not with that shit. I'm less against that than I am about you trying to hold up and prop forward polygamy, push polygamy as a feasible, reasonable alternative to marriage and lifestyle choices. If is it a choice? Sure. Are there people who could pull it off? There probably are, but y'all definitely weren't the ones, and you definitely went about it the wrong way, and you were not standard bearers for that. But I think that there are less people who would try polygamy because you guys insisted on it, versus the people who would be hurt or damaged by thinking that this is the way custody or child support court works if you guys bullshit around with that. Well, we go down there, we just have a conversation, it'd be great, it'd be perfect, it'll be perfect. That will be crazy. So I'm not a fan of that. But yeah, we shall see. But let's see what Raiders Mom said, and we close this bad boy out. Raiders Mom with the $4.99 super chat. She said, in my opinion, Meri's mania for Cody and her jealousy towards the OGs was way bigger than her love for the kids. I don't need to push out a kid to love them like I did. That's true. For people who join families and become bonus parents, I think that is a reasonable choice. I think that makes sense. Like, you can love your partner's children just as you would love your own kids. You promise to protect them and look out for them just as you would look out for your kids. I think that's completely natural. However, in Meri's situation, I think it's a little bit different, just from the respect of, if you want something and somebody else keeps getting the thing that you desperately want for yourself, that's a hard pill to swallow. That's a hard pill to swallow, And it just seems like they're doing it effortlessly. You're struggling. She struggled to have one child. And Christine is sitting there. Technically, Christine had 8 pregnancies. Meri had, I think she had 1 or 2 miscarriages. So she had like 3. Which is a lot. I mean, I'm not playing that down, but I'm just saying, like, for somebody who's sitting there and Janelle just popping kids out, and she don't even want kids. Like, she want to work and she don't want to do kids, and she's just like, yeah, here you go. I mean, that's hard, man. That's hard. But yeah, I think that it's like I said, I think it's baked into layers. Like, her pain is layered out because she started out loving what Cody meant to her. Then she had to share that. Then the thing that is the most important role that she could play in the family, not only did she have to share that, but she was being outshined by people that she viewed as coming into her family. So she sees herself as like the first wife, head wife. And then you have your subordinates coming there killing the job, and you ain't even get off the bench. They killing the game. You ain't even get off the bench. So I think that's what I was referring to. But I mean, I do think that, if you're with a partner and that partner has children, that's a choice. Like, I think that it's your duty as somebody's partner of someone, the partner of someone who has children, that you have to step up and love that child the way you need to love that child as your own child. I think that that's part of the requirement. I don't think that that's really I would even go as far as to say that that's not even an option. It's like, maybe I will care for the child. I think that that's part of the relationship. At least that's the way I see it. I think that's part of the relationship. That if you get with somebody and got a child, you're not just committing to the person that you're committing to, but you're committing to that child too. And if that's why it's important that you meet somebody, you get with them, you make sure that you guys like each other and the relationship is actually going somewhere, it's progressing, and then you introduce them to your child or you meet their kids so that way you can figure out if you guys mesh as a family. So that's one of the complications or one of the difficulties when you're dating somebody who has children, or if you have children, it's one of the difficulties, because you have to find somebody who not only will love, cherish, respect, and care for you, but they also have to share that same love, compassion, and care and respect for your children. Because if they only love you and they only want to be with you, but they don't want to have nothing to do with your kids, that shit is not going to work. Especially if you committed to your children. It's not going to work. It's going to be a problem. I mean, that's just going to be a problem. And I think that with Meri's situation, like I said, I think that's just one more, like the fact that she would harbor it. It's totally reasonable. It's not like it's, I can't believe she would hold jealousy. I mean, it's completely reasonable. If somebody has something that you want, you keep applying for a job and then somebody else, they go down and willy-nilly and they just get it. Like, what the shit? Like, I've been studying, I've been taking classes, I've been coming in early, I've been doing everything, these steps, and I'm no closer to getting a job. And this person just basically came down and threw a ring, pulled out a ball of paper, unfolded it, flattened it out on a table and handed it in like it's a job application and they hired? What? Like, this is crazy. So, and Meri had been with, and that's the thing too, because Meri had been with Cody, I think 2-3 years before they started having children. So was she trying to get pregnant the whole time? Like, that's what I would ask. Were you trying to get pregnant the whole time, or were you guys holding out and then you decided later that you were going to try? Or were you trying the whole time and you were failing the whole time, and then the first time he really tries with Janelle, boom, pregnant. Then y'all still trying, and he tries with Christine, boom, she pregnant. And then right back after each other, like, okay, fine, you get caught up, boom, you have a child. Then after that, it's just off to the races. Every time you turn around, either Janelle or Christine's in the hospital. In some cases, both of them, not in the hospital, they had doing home births. They both walking around pregnant, swelled up. And you sit there, belly flat as a damn, you doing washboard abs wash with Cody out back. You know what I mean? Because you can't get pregnant. So, I mean, I think that'd be a hurt piece. But, I mean, you might be right. I think that I do think that there's a lot to it. I don't think it was just that. I think that you're right to point that out. I don't think it was just that, but I think that added to it. Let me give you a little something, Raiders, my awesomeness. Yep, but that's what we had, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gents. That's what it is. Awesomeness. If you guys want to participate in any of the speak pipes, you're more than welcome to call in or drop a message at speakpipe.com/mytakeonreality. And we will call you up on Thursday and I'll react to your message. We're going to be rocking out this. I'm going to be watching the Special Forces in a little bit to get that cracking. And then I'll probably do some videos about that. And maybe we'll talk about it on Sunday during the after show. So the way I'm going to run the after show, I'm going to do the Sunday after show. Just give my initial reaction to the videos. I'm going to try to keep that shorter. And because it's already late, because of the time that, TLC deems to put the freaking show on, and, because they're jerks, like late as hell. And then I'm going to do a call-in show, I believe, on Tuesday. So you guys be able to call in, and that should give everybody an opportunity, a chance to see the episode if you so choose to watch it. I know some of you have said that you're not going to watch this season. But that'll give you an opportunity to see the episode and we can, talk about it full bore. And then I'll have a video out, I think, hopefully by like that Tuesday or Wednesday, talking about my take on it, maybe pull like issues or whatever that I see, either from special forces or sister wives. All right. But thank you guys so much. Give a huge shout out to everybody who had participated in the Speak Pipe. We had Caramel Cuties, one of the Mega Mod Squad members up in the house. We also had Tanya Carter. Then we had Candace, Angie, as well as Linda. All right. So rocking it out. Thank you guys so much for calling and leaving a message. Wouldn't be a show without you. Hey, Megatron, what's going on? I saw Lizzie B in the house earlier. I want to give her a huge shout out. Mega Mod, Lizzie B, OG, Triple OG. And I want to give a huge shout out to everybody who participated in the Super Chat. So we had Jody Pierce Scholar, Raiders Ma up in the house. And Negla 3. I know Negla was in there. What's going on, Negla? Thank you guys so much. So for everybody who participated, everybody who was hanging out in the chat, super chilling, right, and giving your viewpoints, let me give you guys a little something. All right, everybody, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to this season because we're going to trip and we're going to have some fun. Now, here's the thing. If they have a good season and we're going to have some issues to talk about, we're going to talk about those issues. But if it's a dumbass season, we on full trip mode. We going all in. We going all in. Okay. So some folks like, look, Brown family, I'm giving you the full warning. I wish I would have warned you at the end of last season. Okay. Make sure you come correct. And then I'm going to treat you with respect. Say it one more again. You come correct, I'm going to treat you with respect. But if you come in here, you want to play in my face and you want to get down, then your ass is definitely going to get clowned. Okay? It's like that. I'm going to cook you. You're going to get cooked. Okay? We're going to cook the shit out your ass. Trust me. I might go out and buy me one of them Chef Boyardee hats. Because I have a feeling that we're going to be on full cook mode. We're going to be on broil up in here. Okay? We don't have to cook these fools because if y'all come in with some dumb stuff, it's on and popping. You getting clowned straight up. I'm clowning you. I'm not going, this is I refuse. Let me put it very clear. I refuse to get on this channel and try to pretend to y'all that shit that is bullshit is interesting. You are not going to hear me say, oh, yeah, that shit was interesting. I like the way they explained that. There was nothing going on. Everybody said it was nothing happening, but there was some secret sauce stuff going on. We are not doing secret squirrel stuff. We are not doing that shit here. We're not. If it's whack, I'm throwing it back. Straight up. It's coming right back. I'm whipping it around. We throwing it right back at you. We are not TLC, your ass is on notice. Okay. We are not doing this is interesting. And yeah, we got to dig deep and try to put some shit together and pull some stuff out of nowhere. And, let me stand up out of this chair because I got to pull some shit out of my ass to make this show interesting. I am not helping you. You guys, look, if we going bowling, I'm taking the bumpers off of the lane. I am not giving you that assist. So the show better stand on its own 2 feet because this show is already long as shit in the tooth. And if it's not coming correct, you getting clowned. And I'm going to call it out. I'm not doing no favors. I'm not playing nice. I'm not doing that no more. Oh, it's kind of interesting. Nope. I'm not trying to do that kind of analysis. I'm going to tell it what it is. I'm going to put it right where it is. So if you want to hear the truth, hit me back. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like, share, let folks know that this is where it's going to be at. Because we're not playing the dumb shit game. Oh, yeah, that was really interesting when Cody went there and apologized. Did you believe him? Hell to the no, because he didn't say shit. He just sat there, did some fake ass crying. Motherfucker was out in the damn car, rubbing his eyelids with some onions, trying to get in there and squeeze some tears out because, you know, that's good acting, you know. But he didn't say anything. So I'm going to sit here and pretend like, oh, yeah, no, that was deep. I really felt bad for him. The hell I did. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. And I'm standing on that. So it is what it is. All right, guys. That's my take. And I'm sticking to it, as Linda would say. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, guys. That's my take. I'm James. And this has been my take on reality. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I will see you very soon. Members, make sure we keep up because on Saturday, we're going to have the round table. Once again, we're going to get together. I'm sure we're going to have a whole lot to say. All right. So make sure if you're a member, you guys check me out on Saturday afternoon at noon Eastern Standard Time. Round table in the house. Everybody else, I will see you soon. Thank you guys so much. Take care of yourself and make sure you get strapped up because this is the week and we are ready to rock and roll. Locked, loaded, and we ready to go. That's my take. I'm James. This is my take on reality, and I am.
'Cause I've been living life.